Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Mpoomy Brenden.
And I'm Brenden Praise.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. You normally have more to say.
No.
Anyway, I know a lot of people are doing Vlogmas. I really wanted to, but I think time just doesn't allow us.
Yo, guys.
We're even struggling to put out videos.
Struggling to put out one video.
I'm struggling to do anything. We'll try next year. Can we try next year?
Maybe we'll do Vlogmas the last week of December.
I'm not promising.
Like Christmas week.
And easy.
I'll do it, guys. I'll take one for the team.
Vote. Say yes if you think he should do Vlogmas, and if you think, you know what, guys, relax, let us know. Anyway, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, commenting, and being so committed to us. We're almost towards the end of the year, and we've grown so much.
I was
looking stats. I think we grew by 40,000 subscribers this year.
Yo, you guys did the most. You guys did the most.
Yeah. So anyway, we're doing I think it's our final episode of Mpoomy and Brenden for this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So let's get going. Okay, first question. I'm not sure what I want in life. Ooh.
I don't think that's a question.
It is. Oh, it starts here. Any advice to give me? I was doing honors this year. I dropped out because I couldn't handle it. Depressed. I'm not sure what I want in life. I listened to a podcast that Oprah Winfrey did with Dr. Phil about a book he wrote. I haven't read the book yet. And someone actually said something like that they're not sure what they want, or they asked them what would make them happy and they didn't know. And then Dr. Phil said, well, that's a question only you can answer. Unfortunately, we cannot tell you what you want in life, and we cannot give you steps on what to figure out what you want in life. All I can say is that try to be present in every moment. Get a gratitude journal. That's always my first step to people who are going through a lot. Get a gratitude journal. Write down some things that you're grateful for, and try find things that could excite you. Try out new things. Try meeting up with new people, and take it easy, man. Life is not a race, it's a marathon.
Yeah, I agree. I've been reading a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and it kind of just talks about the secret to success. And I think if you look into your life and what you've done over your life, what you've been interested in, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, those are signs.
You'll realize what you're interested in and what you are good at, because ultimately I think you want to do something that you are good at, something that you've obviously worked on, even if it's like subconsciously. You realize that a lot of people drop out of stuff because they're not passionate in it, and maybe they're not even good at it. So if you look for things that you are passionate about, things that you've actually worked on subconsciously over time, it's like what you always talk about, how when you were younger you used to do people's hair and whatnot as a child, and so you didn't know that was preparation for what you're going to be doing now. So there's a lot of situations like that. I mean, I've been singing since I was 6 years old, so it's like it's something that I could use to determine what path I want to take, because I already have so much invested in terms of preparation in that industry.
What's the best approach to discussing finances in a relationship? Oh, finances in a relationship is always difficult, but I think it's really important to start discussing them when you're in the courting phase, where you kind of know, when you start talking about the future, and there's no run around it. I think it's just being honest, deciding, are we going to be one? Are we being honest about how much you earn? If you're planning on spending the rest of your life with someone, I think that's an important discussion. How much you earn, how are you going to be contributing, should things change, how are we going to handle it? So I think it's a conversation you don't have after the wedding day. You have it before you even decide to get engaged, I believe, because I think money plays a huge role in a relationship. It actually makes or breaks other relationships. So I think it's very important to have that discussion when things get serious.
I agree. I'll just say I think transparency, and I think maybe kind of creating an environment of like non-judgment, but I think that's with everything in a relationship. If you want to discuss something openly, you must make sure that you guys create an environment where you can both be honest, you know, because if someone feels like they can't be honest, then it just sets you guys down the wrong path. So then you guys can't have an open conversation about money, because now you're scared to say, okay, I've got this account and I've got this account. You're scared to be judged, to look as though you are a person who's terrible with money. So you end up lying, and then it just kind of sets you guys down the wrong path of a financial talk. So I think making sure that there's transparency first of all, but also creating an environment where there's non-judgment and you can be honest. You know?
I like that. Okay, next year I'm going to varsity. Ngisindisiwe. How do I keep away from ukuthatheka emhlabeni? Okay, for those who don't understand, how do I keep away from being
running with the crowds?
Running with the crowds, yeah. I think knowing yourself, hey? If you know who you are, it's so easy to say no to what doesn't align with your vision and what doesn't align with your values. And yes, you're human, things will happen there and there, but should mistakes happen, always remember who you are. And getting the right friends, it's so important. If 5 of the people you hang around are smokers, eventually you'll be the 6th one. If 5 of them are millionaires, eventually you'll be the next millionaire. So I think choosing the right friends, firstly, knowing who you are, that's the first step. Know who you are, what your values are, what you're there to do is very important. Secondly, the right crowd. Hang around the right people who have goals in mind, who you know, where you've got the same values, where you won't feel like you have to compromise, or where you feel like you're left out. And yeah, that's kind of it for me. And also just know that what you do in your teens, in your 20s, can either set you up for your late 20s, for the start of your career, or it can set you really, really back.
I agree. I think just emphasis on your first point, which is just kind of knowing who you are. I think you need to really understand what it is that you like, what it is that you want out of life, and then I think it'll be easier for you to realize the kind of decisions or sacrifices that you have to make in order to become that. Make it a point to kind of find yourself, do some soul searching. What do I like? What do I want to achieve? What have people who have achieved that, how have they lived their lives?
I love that.
So you do the research in kind of figuring yourself out, and you do like internal work so that you are whole. If you are filled and if you are fulfilled, you won't see the need to find validation or to find approval from other people. You'll be enough.
Why do I find myself struggling financially after paying a tithe? Am I doing it wrong? Okay, so firstly, I think we should clear things out. God, when he speaks about tithing didn't just start in Malachi. It actually started with Abraham. It started a while back, and God said, bring all the tithe into the storehouse so that there may be food to eat. Then I will fill your barns, and your vat shall overflow with good wine, right? And when God says bring a 10%, it's a 10% of everything, which means a 10% of your gross. So I know a lot of people make a mistake of tithing on your net. If your pay slip says before tax your salary is 10,000 rand, then you will be tithing 1,000 rand. So if your salary, you end up getting 7,000 rand in your account, you're not tithing 700, you're still tithing 1,000 rand because it's gross. The tax man just took what belongs to him. That's an expense. So firstly, I think you should if you're not doing that already, tithe on gross. And then secondly, living beyond your means. I think we live in a generation where a lot of people live beyond their means, and then we want to say God will provide. And I'm not saying that's your case, but I'm just saying, I know I had someone once come tell me they bought a car that costs like 3,000 rand, but they earn like 4,000 rand. Now they don't know if they should pay the car tithe. So firstly, that's not a wise decision. Why would you buy a car that you can't afford? We put God first. So before you even put your budget, I don't make my budget I don't even count my tithe money in my budget. budget. So before buying a house or a car or rental or whatever,
or
clothes, anything, tithe is already excluded. It's the same way with your tax money. You don't count it when you do your budget. So that's the same thing with tithe. And then why we tithe because God says so that there may be food to eat, so that we can finance God's kingdom, so that his work can continue. And the 10% is actually, I see it as saying, God, I give you this 10% so you can protect the 90%. It doesn't mean that every month now God owes me an abundance of wealth. Yes, God promises that he will give us abundance of wealth, but that's not why we do things. Whether he gives us an abundance of wealth or not, to tithe is just a principle. And also, like what Brenden said, sometimes things are seasonal. We've spoken about a season where we didn't even know if we were going to eat or not, but not once did we ever say, oh, it's this tithing thing, or maybe we shouldn't tithe.
Yeah.
Some things are seasonal. Some seasons God wants to stretch you, show you that, you know what, here's this money, it doesn't seem enough, but watch me show you how it can be enough. And sometimes you're in seasons of, whoa, God, it's so much, what do I even do with this? So I think change the mindset of tithe from saying it's this burden and now I'm struggling, to God, what a gift. The fact that I can tithe means I have a job, means I have an income. There are people who don't have incomes, which means they cannot tithe. So the fact that you can tithe means you have an income. So I wouldn't necessarily say you're doing it wrong, but I think just also question your motives around it, your belief about it, and why you do it.
And why you're doing it. Because you're better off not doing it if you're going to do it and then have like and feel this burden every time you do it, and kind of like you have this negativity towards doing it.
Yeah, the word says God loves a
because then it goes then it's the, what do they call it, the law of attraction, because then what you're attracting in your life is completely opposite to what you think you're trying to attract, because your body language and your energy is negative.
About it. My husband and I don't spend time together. This is affecting me. What keeps fire burning in a marriage? Communication. As cliche as it sounds, maybe he doesn't see a problem because you haven't said anything. So maybe start by saying something, and don't start by saying you're not spending enough time with me, because he won't hear you. Start by saying, honey, how about we go out for lunch, or how about we read together, or sit outside and have a cup of tea. So maybe suggest something and show that you're interested in spending more time with him. And then if he doesn't get the message, then be clear in the communication that, hey, let's sit down. I'm really affected by the fact that you don't want to spend time with me. It makes me feel unwanted. It makes me feel unloved. Can we just work on it?
Yeah, I agree. And I also think you guys must, obviously it's both sides, where you have to look at, when we are spending time together, what are we doing? You know, are we just doing what I want to do, or are we doing what he wants to do? Because sometimes I know that men can tap out in terms of really giving time, because they feel like, okay, they need their own time, they need their personal time,
cave time.
Yeah, because you're not gonna watch the game with him or whatever. So if the case, maybe if that might be the case, then you can maybe suggest, you know what, let's go to the stadium this weekend, let's go watch a game thing. And then I think in giving towards what he desires in terms of spending time together and doing things together, I think he will then feel, oh, you know what, I'll give this a chance because you gave what I wanted to do a chance. Because I think a lot of times you want to spend time with someone, but you want to do something that they don't necessarily like all the time.
I think that's a problem ladies have.
You know, so I think you want to kind of make it like
fun
I said,
for him as well,
fun for everyone. So let's all be feeding our what we like, our passions and our desires and stuff.
Cool. What should single Christians look for in a potential partner? We actually had a conversation about, firstly, I don't think you should be looking for things in people. Now hear me correctly, I'm not saying take every Tom, Dick and Harry. Still have your values and your non-compromising things, but I think the focus now should be on how can I be the best partner. Now, how can I be the best version of me? And like we said, we believe a lot in the law of attraction, and I think I believe the law of attraction comes from the Bible. As a person thinks, so he becomes. So if you behave a certain way, you attract certain people. So if you're a trash person, you probably will attract trash people. If you're a giving person, you will eventually attract giving people. So I think the focus should be more more on how can I be the best version of myself. And when people come along who want to be in relationships and date with you, you will already see what doesn't serve you. Ne? And then I think you make a decision on there. But I don't think we should be going around interviewing people trying to see if you've got this.
Yeah.
Do you go to this church? Do you pray 9 times a day? Or this.
Yeah, I think you just want to establish the core things, you know, like she said, values and beliefs. I think after that, I think you really want to be focused on what you appreciate the other person does, you know, instead of focusing on what you want them to do. So you kind of weigh out, okay, you know, sometimes the things that you like when you're dating someone, they don't mean anything when you guys get married.
Yeah.
What really matters is the things that you used to overlook.
Yeah.
So the fact that this person used to check up on you all the time, or this person used to just go out of their way to make you comfortable. They run around. Those things are not things that you're going to look at. You're going to look at how attractive they are. You're going to look at, oh, he always pays the bill. Oh, he smells nice. He dresses nice. Once you marry someone, it doesn't matter how they dress.
No.
What matters is, do they account for what they do? What matters is, do they care about you? Do they want to know how you feel?
Can they have a conversation?
Can they have a conversation? Things like that. So you want to kind of appreciate those things while you're dating someone and be like, okay, this is really nice.
Yeah.
Like I think it's okay to imagine your future partner, you guys as a married couple while dating, and ask yourself, okay, how will it be living with a person like this?
Because what you see in dating is times 10 in marriage.
Exactly.
So if he swears in dating and you don't like it, but you let it slip, when you're married, you're going to live with that person and they're going to be swearing the whole day.
And then when you argue, they're going to swear at you.
They're going to swear at you. So would you be okay with that? So, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think needs to be in place before having children? Finances.
Yeah.
I won't even lie. Children are expensive. Children are expensive, and it's a blessing to be able to do things for them. It's a blessing that when your child has a birthday, to be able to buy them a new dress. It's a blessing to not have to count cents to go buy nappies. Not saying you have to be rich, but you need to have some sort of stability. So you want to be in your own space where you can be comfortable, that when someone wants to interfere, you say, hey, this is my home, this is what we do. We know how mothers and mothers-in-laws can be when it comes to children. So I think it's good to be able to afford your own space. You need to be able to afford a nanny, especially if you have to go back to work. You need to be able to afford nappies, food, clothing, vaccinate. The list is long. But also I think you need to be as a woman, I think you need to be very comfortable with self. Children having a child can mess you up so much emotionally, and you don't expect it. You don't expect it at all. But I think as a woman who's had a child and who almost got into a place of being depressed because I didn't know who I am, I think it's important to kind of understand that there's going to be a lot of changes, emotional, physical, relational changes, and you just have to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
How do you overcome pre-existing fears when you're about to dive into something new? Intention
is everything with any venture, be it in music, creativity, business, whatever. It's your intention that's what really determines the outcome of whatever you're doing. Is your intention. So if your intention is pure, whether it works at a high level, whether it just barely makes it doesn't matter, because what you've done is you've lived out a purpose. You know, you've lived out a purpose that God might have given to you.
The word of God says, I go before you and I place my hand of blessing over you. And that's a scripture I take with me, is that God has already been today. He came to today before I even got to today. He knows next week before I even get to next week. And that should make me okay. That does not mean everything I do will work out successfully on a high level the way I want it to. But I know that I am safe in His hand. And whether it fails or whether it succeeds or whether what I know that I'm in God's plan, and that should be enough. And God says in His word, I have not given you a spirit of fear, but I've given you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. What's a sound mind? A sound mind is a mind of saying, I am at peace, I am at calm, whatever happens, God, I trust you. And that's all you need to know, that he's not giving you a spirit of fear. You just need to have a sound mind, know that you are powerful, know who you are, and everything. I think the love part goes to what you're saying, intention. Whatever you do it as unto God, and whatever the outcome is, we know that it will have a bigger purpose, whether it served what you were trying to achieve or not, but at the end of the day it gave God glory, because everything that comes from love comes from God and is for God.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we end it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Thank you guys for watching our channel. I think we'll have 2 more videos for the month. We will see. We're not promising. We will try really hard. And yeah, that's it from us. We love you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your neighbor to come and watch our videos. God bless.
Cheers, guys.